Hello everybody, I just wanted to update you on the channel here. I did do a post earlier on today and I don't know if people saw it or anything like that, so I just decided I'd just come on, and I'm not in the mood to come on camera tonight, so I'm just putting on some B-roll footage that I took of Derry City. It's been the first time inside the city in about 2 years. I'm using some of that footage for a bit of a project that I'm doing. I recently went on an investigation about 2 weeks ago, and what I usually do is I normally have the investigation, one night, and within a week, the video comes out. But this time I decided to sort of make it a little better, a little more special, and that in itself has come up with some sort of challenges which I have to sort of fix, and there's other things I have to film in order to make it the way I want it to go. It's sort of like a documentary, so I'm gonna have to try and do some voiceovers, B-rolls, stories along the way, and stuff like that. I want to make it sort of the best I can do it, and I want to take my time on it. I don't want to rush it, because every time I sort of do an investigation, I'm sort of, I get I'm proud of how I present it, and then I'm disappointed, if you know what I mean. I'm never happy, so I want to try and do this in a different style, in a different sort of way, Otherwise, I have been taking a bit of a break. Everybody needs one. In fact, since Christmas, I have been sort of taking a bit of a break, focusing on other things, focusing on myself and stuff like that, because sometimes you have to step back. Since I started the channel 2017, I have been thinking about YouTube constantly in my life, and it just came to a kind of a stage where I had to sit down and say, is that a perfect balance in my life? So, I've taken some time to sort of reevaluate things, and also try and clear my head and focus on the future. What way do I want my YouTube channel to go? What way do I want my life to go? All these things. I'm still doing my recordings. I'm still doing my ITC recordings over on Life Afterlife ITC research, because I made that decision that not everybody that's into the paranormal is into ITC. It is paranormal, but it's a different sort of niche, and not everybody that wants to see ghost hunts wants to see ITC recordings and spirit box recordings. They don't want to see that. Lately on those, I've turned the box on, and I haven't asked questions. I just sat and listened, and the reason for that is, Frank Sumption very often turned on his devices and just listened. And I've been doing a lot of sessions. I've been doing a lot of recordings, and every time I've recorded, I've asked a number of questions. And I'm thinking to myself, if I was a spirit communicating with me, would I be annoyed by the line of questioning and the constant line of questioning, the asking questions about where you are, what can you see, can you describe where you are? Yes, these are questions that we would love to know, but with the recordings, I'm asking them a lot, and I just thought, lately, I just thought, just turn the spirit box on and just record and let whatever's coming through come through on their own, on their own grounds, and say what they want to say without me asking questions. Yes, asking questions is good because you're looking for a response, but at the same time, I'd like to find out what can be said without questions, I've been asked a number of questions on Facebook, and I'm really sorry that I haven't got around to a lot of your questions. It's just that, things are happening in my life that I have to sort of, go through and deal with. And I will get around to your questions at some stage, and I'm really sorry that I've taken so long. People have been asking also about the podcast when they're coming back. I hope very, very soon, but knowing me, I've got these self-confidence issues, and when in a vulnerable state to fight that, I normally go live, if you know what I mean. And, that could happen soon. Could happen. It could help me. But we'll see. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm not going to go live again. I love the podcast. I love talking. I love the topics. And I love the questions, I really do. And I love the sense of community around live streams itself, If I could do it every day, if I had the confidence to do it every day, I would. But I don't, I don't. It's a bit like a cold swimming pool. When you get in on a live stream, you're fine. But actually gearing up for a live stream, you've got these doubts in your mind, and you got these fears and stuff like that. But when you get into a live stream, you're fine. Hopefully, I'll try and organise it soon. I was also asked about Patreon and members. When members came along, I have an option of having members, and you can stream for members only. It's a small niche group, and that. To me, at the moment, I don't want to do members because, to me, it was all about giving content for free, giving everybody the same. Some people have money, and some people don't. And I don't feel right about asking people to pay for content. Listen, I'm happy enough just putting content on the channel, and sometimes that is, it's hard enough to do as it is. So, there is channels out there that have members and then don't do anything about it. I don't want to have members. It's like having a separate channel, and I've got 2 channels already. Do you know what I mean? and I want everybody to have free content. Now, YouTube is about being free. Now, I understand if people have members. I'm not saying nothing bad about members. It's a good way. I mean, if people are making employment from YouTube and they're making some money, and that makes them feel good if they don't have a job and this is their job, and they're making something and creating something and getting paid for it. That can be the that can be the thing that can pick them up. That can be something that makes them feel useful, and I understand that. It's just at the moment I would just rather have content on the channel, not deal with members. The question did come up about members and Patreon, and I don't know anything about Patreon, to be honest with you. And the reason why I've been asked is the person that asked me says it'd be nice to have a smaller group that can talk 1-to-1. Now, we can sort of deal with that in other ways, and I'll think something over, possibly without going into Patreon or members or anything like that, because I at the same time I just don't want to be charging a fee. That's not what I want to do. Maybe a private group on Facebook. I know there is a private group that everybody's in, but something different. I can work something out in that way. Now, the reason for this B-roll is I'm using this B-roll in the last investigation, and the last investigation was in Derry, and it was in a theatre, which was, in its former life, was a shirt factory, and you may have seen just a few minutes ago a massive 3-story building. That was one of many shirt factories in Derry. Derry was an industrial town way back in the day. It's not so much now. It's more of a sort of a tourist, sort of cosmopolitan city. Lots of coffee shops, lots of restaurants. A very tourist, very tourist type city. But way back in the past, it was a hub for industry, and you can see some of the massive houses on the streets. There's 3 or 4 story houses. Nowadays there are apartments and office buildings and that, but way back in the day, these were, people's homes. So you can imagine the wealth that went through the city. Now, this particular shirt factory that was turned into a theatre is on the grounds of a former poorhouse, and that poorhouse was one of the ghost stories attached to the city. It was believed that activity was witnessed in the poorhouse and the buildings around it. Now, there was apartment blocks. There was an apartment block built right beside the workhouse, and I've been told that actually there was human remains found while digging the foundations for these apartments, and apparently there's been activity in the apartments. Now, the shirt factory is right beside the poorhouse on the other side of that, and it's believed that even the street, some of the houses in the street have experienced activity. Now, when we went there, as usual, things did not go to plan. I intended to throw the kitchen sink at it, so I brought loads of equipment and even brought around a spirit box and thermal and all the rest of it, and I didn't get time to use it because we kept getting interrupted by activity and noises and that. And towards the end of the night, we were recording for about 3 hours, and I decided I'll check the cameras. There was only about 20 minutes left on Rachel's camera, and there was an hour left on mine. So we've these big high capacity batteries, so we were filling for 3 hours. But we were in one area where we were getting noises and voices and stuff, and we were sitting around a table, and next thing anyway, Rachel's camera goes off. There's 20 minutes left on the left of battery in it. It goes off. A couple of minutes later, mine goes off. Now this is just shortly after I had checked them, and my camera had an hour, and Rachel's had 20 minutes. And it was kind of strange that when activity heightened up, it was like said, no more filming. It's all over now. And that's where it sort of ended. And I don't want it to end there. So I might have to go back and do more filming to fill in the gaps, to make this end to the story. It's not finished. So that I have to try and, every story has a beginning, middle, and end. And the end isn't quite there, so I have to try and figure that out, and that's why I'm trying to take my time on this. I'm putting a lot into this. Every so often, I'll go into the files and edit another little bit, and eventually put the whole lot together as a big long. It's like a little feature film at this stage, but when it's done, sort of thing. But that investigation wouldn't have been possible without KJ Hauntings, and I thank them very, very much. I'm very, very grateful for that. Hopefully, weather is starting to get better, and hopefully I'll be back out soon. We have to sort of try and think of the future because of locations. They struggle to get locations and stuff like that. It's a real thing, a lot of abandoned buildings and derelict buildings. A lot of that is not available to us anymore because there's been a lot of vandalism. There's been a lot of fires. There's been a lot of antisocial behaviour, all that kind of stuff. Some places have been knocked down, some places have been renovated, but a lot of them have had fires in them. And, some of them have been blocked up and secured even more than they are. So, there is that shortage of that kind of location. But we are looking into what way we can move forward with that, But I'm gonna go, and hopefully I'll talk to you soon. I just wanted to update you on what's been happening, because I know last little while I put up a couple of funny little 1-minute videos and stuff like that, and I haven't been giving ye, one-to-one sort of, talking on camera, being out in my usual places and stuff like that. I have other things to sort of deal with sort of right now, but I will get back into it and that. And, and I'm always thankful for everybody that supports the channel. I'm really grateful for that, and, thanks to everybody, I'm going to go. I will see you very soon. Thank you.